Okay, how and where to source inventory.
Fun stuff. There are two main ways, online or in-store. We do both.
If you live in a place where there are many thrift stores around you, then in-store sourcing may be your best choice.
Yeah, here are the major thrift stores as of 2022 in America, because we have no idea what thrift life is like in other countries, to be honest. Obviously, you have Goodwill, which everyone knows, which has been controversial in the past about employee wage practices and whether or not it is actually, in fact, a nonprofit. Spoiler alert, it's not. And then there's also the Goodwill Outlet, which some people will call the bins, which not as many people realize is a thing, I don't think. The bins is where you buy stuff in bulk by the pound rather than per item. If you live close to a Goodwill bins location and you're willing to get a little dirty, this can be a great place to source for volume. But you might also have to throw some elbows sometimes and not be afraid to duke it out with the other bins vultures. It ain't easy work, but it's honest. We do the bins a lot, actually, probably more than we should, because the treasure hunt is so dang addicting. The potential to find like really good stuff at the bins for super cheap is high.
Yeah.
Well, depending on your location.
Another big one is savers. These are all over the country, sometimes called Value Village. These are becoming more and more like Goodwill, honestly, and that's frustrating because it comes with the Goodwill prices too. In fact, every chain thrift store these days is starting to price things like Goodwill does. Huh.
Trendsetters. Habitat for Humanity is another large chain, as well as the Salvation Army, which we've rarely found anything good to resell at either of those. Maybe once or twice. So I don't know.
And the last is St. Vincent De Paul, which can be surprisingly good for sourcing.
There's also a bunch of minor thrift stores and random mom and pop shops all over the place. You may even have a few near you, so search on Google Maps and see what's around. A lot of the time the prices might be better there, but the potential for really good items is probably also lower.
Another thing to note is that maybe your Goodwill store is better than ours, or St. Vincent de Paul is bad where you are, or
Yeah.
It just depends, and it's not always going to be consistently great or bad, so. Yeah.
Location's a big deal. Like, if you find a Goodwill in Beverly Hills, good chance they're gonna have some really good stuff there.
They might price it up.
Yeah,
so like
it's probably gonna be a boutique.
$200,
Yeah,
but
it'll be like a boutique Goodwill.
yeah.
But, you can still figure out flips with those kinds of places.
Another way to source is by shopping at consignment stores, which we'll talk about later. Other ways include getting free stuff from friends and family, selling stuff you already own, of course, and liquidation.
Liquidation is where you buy a big pallet of used or sent back items in bulk. So there's really no telling what you might find in these pallets. And also you need like a lot of space to do that kind of thing, like a warehouse or a huge garage or something. So not recommended for everybody. Also, you probably need a good chunk of money to get a liquidation pallet. Like, I don't know how much exactly they cost, but like probably in the $500 range would be my guess. We don't do liquidation pallets, so we're not gonna talk about that in this training course.
So what if I live way out in the middle of nowhere up on a mountain?
Then online sourcing is your friend. This is where you look through all of the platforms we mentioned previously and find stuff to flip.
We'll talk more in detail about online sourcing later in this course.
So now it's the fun part. We get to go to the thrift store and figure out what to buy. So let's go.